Welcome to the virtual policy meeting for Relationships, Health and Sex Education, which in future will be referred to as RHSE. My name is Mrs Cox and I lead the curriculum for RHSE across the whole school. From September 2020, the teaching of RHSE became compulsory in all schools. This video is an opportunity for me to share our school's policy and the rationale behind the curriculum. However, the objectives in the policy are statutory and must be taught. You can find the policy on our school website. The first 10 pages of the policy are corporate and found in all our policies. They share the school's vision and the aims for our pupils. This then leads on to looking at what teaching and learning at St Peter's looks like. And the page I'm showing you currently, page 9, is the teaching and learning delivery model, followed by the principles of effective instruction. Page 11 links directly to the RHSE curriculum, stating where the content is from. So I've highlighted the content is taken from the relationship education, relationships, sex education and health education statutory guidance. The rationale behind these chosen content and timings mainly is about the characteristics of positive relationships, whether that's friendships, family relationships and the relationships with other children and adults. Our youngest children taught about what a relationship is, what friendship is, what family means and who the people are who can support them. These concepts continue with permission seeking and giving, and the concept of personal privacy added to our pupils' understanding at an age-appropriate level. Teachers will talk explicitly about the features of healthy friendships, family relationships and other relationships which our children are likely to encounter. We'll also help them to recognise any less positive relationships which they may encounter, and this also applies to relationships online. We'll address online safety and appropriate behaviour in a way, again, that is relevant to the pupils' lives. We're aware that teaching about families is a sensitive subject, and well-judged teaching will be based on knowledge of pupils and their circumstances. Families of many forms provide a nurturing environment for children, which is including our LGBT parents, families headed by grandparents, adoptive parents, foster parents, carers, etc. Our relationships education curriculum will provide an opportunity for our pupils to develop or to be taught about positive emotional and mental well-being. Those two things are clearly linked. They only be able to recognise and report abuse, including emotional, physical and sexual abuse. This will be delivered by focusing on boundaries and privacy, ensuring that our pupils understand they have their rights over their own bodies. Currently, we already choose to teach some aspects of sex education and will continue to do so. These cover statutory RHSE requirements only. It ensures that both boys and girls are prepared for the changes that adolescence brings. Year 5, and then draws on knowledge of the human life cycle set out in the National Curriculum for Science. Year 4. Positive relationship work is an important part of the curriculum in Year 6, which prepares our children for understanding their feelings for others in adolescence. At St Peter's, we consult our parents in Year 4, 5 and 6 annually about the detailed content of what will be taught. Our curriculum does not go above and beyond what is already part of the National Curriculum for Science. Physical health and mental well-being will teach about good physical health and the link with mental well-being. Talk about the benefits and importance of daily exercise, good nutrition and sufficient sleep, and the language and knowledge to understand the normal range of emotions that everyone experiences. We'll discuss with pupils the steps that they can take to protect and support their own and others' health and well-being, including self-care techniques, personal hygiene, prevention of health and well-being problems, and basic first aid. The teaching and learning within relationship education at St Peter's. Families and people who care for me, and these are the objectives. Caring friendships, followed by the objectives. Respectful relationships, followed by the objectives. Online relationships, followed by the objectives. Being safe, etc. Physical health, mental well-being. Healthy eating, drugs, alcohol and tobacco, health and prevention, and basic first aid. The curriculum has been designed to look like this. Across the top we have the year groups from 1 to 6, and where the objectives for each of the parts or the strands for relationships education are going to be covered. You'll notice that early years are not on there. The early years foundation curriculum have their own PSED, which will cover relationship education. There's codes showing where these are going to be covered or how they're going to be covered through which subject. PSHE will be the subject that most often will be used to cover the objectives. But there is also, at the bottom, a little link that will show you where and how it's going to be covered, through what subjects. So we just go back up to the relationships education. You'll see that some objectives are covered in every single year group, and that's because they're deemed to be necessary regardless of the age of the child. Others don't come in so much later. We're not expecting our youngest children to realise that marriage is a formal legal commitment of two people. It will come up in year 6, but it'll also come linked to their RE, and they look at Hinduism. So we scroll down, caring relationships. This also looks at relationships that are equal and balanced, so that children recognise that some relationships are not positive relationships. If somebody is too dominant in a relationship, then that actually can be quite a harmful relationship. So these objectives will cover respect within a relationship, and also the ICT, online relationships. When we get down to health, physical and mental well-being, again you'll see that objectives are covered sometimes in every single year group, and others it's later depending on the age of the child. Internet safety and harm, obviously those objectives will be covered as part of the computing topic. Physical health and fitness will come through PE, as well as general discussion within class around being healthy. Healthy eating comes through science in year 4, but again it needs to be covered in general with other classes. When we get to drugs and alcohol and tobacco, this will be covered in year 5 and 6 through the global policing programme. Health and prevention, recognising signs of illness, etc. Again, cover through PSHE and through our sex and relationship education. And when we come down to the last one, the changing adolescent body, again it's through our sex and relationship education as part of the RHSE. Children need to know about puberty and the changing adolescent body. Some of this will be delivered by Healthy Schools through the school nursing team, who will be able to come in and talk to the children about that. Menstrual cycle delivered through our SRE, but specifically aimed at girls. Obviously, if there's anything you want to discuss regarding this policy, yes, you can look at it on the website, but please contact school and I'll be willing to go through anything that you're unsure about, and reassure you that we're not going to cover anything in our sex education that is not already part of the National Curriculum for Science. We are not going beyond what children have to know under statutory guidance already. Hope it's been useful. Look forward to hearing from you if you need to discuss anything. Thank you.